When I got this laptop, I thought it was going to be easy to get up and running with some DOS games from the internet, mostly because my laptop has support for USB. Combined with Windows 98 SE, I thought getting DOS games off the internet to this laptop was going to be easy with Windows 98 support for USB devices. But it didn't go according to plan for me. I soon discovered that the port was physically damaged. When I unplugged the peripheral from the USB port, the plastic from the USB port just broke off the machine. So there went that plan. I put electrical tape over the port, reminding myself that I'd never be able to use that port ever again. And so, my journey to finding a new solution to transfer files began. My first resort was to burn games onto CD-ROMs. I got a pack of 10 blank discs for $10, but then I discovered that these discs are CDR and not CDRW. Now the difference is that R stands for recordable and RW stands for rewritable. The big difference between these two types of CDs is that CDRs melt their files to the CD, while CDRWs can take files off the disc and write new data. The issue is that because CDRs melt files, that means the data is permanently written to the CD, meaning that I couldn't overwrite the disc. So instead, I used these CDs to write the most important of software. I ended up using these disks to burn Windows 95B and Fujitsu's drivers for Windows 98 just in case I had to go back to using 98 instead of 95. I wanted to use floppy disks to transfer games that way, but the issue is, I don't have a USB floppy drive. Only this internal drive that I pulled out of an old desktop for some reason. I thought I would be able to easily find a 34-pin to USB adapter, but that cost way more than just a USB floppy drive, and shipping was even more expensive, which was a shame because this drive was made by Panasonic, and I've had good experiences with Panasonic electronics. I didn't want to go out and buy a floppy drive for some off-brand I never heard of, unless it was my last resort, in which case this was. The USB drive adapter I found was on back order in stores, so I just decided against floppy disks. Even if I did have a working solution, I would have very few blank disks, so disk swapping would have taken forever, and I probably would have killed the disks. This is a Microsoft Broadband Networking Wireless Notebook Adapter, model MN720. This is a Wi-Fi card that plugs into the PCMCIA card slot of an old laptop like this one. And it would allow the laptop to connect to 802.11g networks. I have multiple routers in my house, and one of them happens to use 802.11g, so all I had to do was plug in the card, put it on the network, and that's it, we're good to go, right? No, not really. I was planning on downgrading this laptop to Windows 95, but the driver was only compatible with Windows 98 and higher, so I had to go back to using Windows 98 so I could use this hardware. And while I was installing Windows 95, the CD-ROM drive wouldn't mount, making transferring of basic files on the CD-ROM to be quite difficult. Oh, and while my router may use wireless G, it uses WPA2 personal security. This adapter was only certified by the Wi-Fi Alliance to support WEP, WPA Personal, and WPA Enterprise, so it may support those standards, but it does not support WPA2 standards. To make matters worse, this adapter detects networks with WPA2 based security as a network that uses WEP. And this was an expensive adapter at the time period, so I couldn't let this thing go to waste. I had to make some use out of it. Then I thought, maybe I could start an ad hoc network from my desktop PC using this USB Wi-Fi adapter. Unfortunately, Windows 8 and higher removed the option in the GUI to start an ad hoc network, so I tried starting a hotspot using NetSH in the command prompt, but it only supported WPA2 security. If it doesn't support ad hoc from my most up-to-date computer, I tried something else. This isn't my main laptop, it was just sitting on the shelf for years. So I booted up Windows 7 and lo and behold, ad hoc network support. I changed the security to using WEP and it still wouldn't connect using this adapter. So if I can't get this adapter to receive a signal, maybe I could get it to transmit a signal. So that would mean I would have to start an ad hoc network using this PCMCIA adapter and then connect to the network using my computer. It wouldn't connect on my main computer regardless of the security settings, so I tried the Windows 7 laptop again, and it worked. For some reason, it wouldn't show the Fujitsu laptop on the network using the GUI, but I tried entering the computer's network path manually, and there it was. Now I was able to access the computer's hard drive and write files. So all I had to do is transfer some games using a USB flash drive, copy the game to the computer, and then I was off to having some fun. Of course, this isn't a practical solution, but to be honest, I didn't want to spend more time trying to find a simple solution since I already spent days trying to even access the computer. I also went ahead and installed Microsoft Plus on this laptop because while it did add desktop themes to make the desktop look prettier, it also added support for zip folders so I could extract zip files directly onto this laptop. So that was my journey trying to get stuff on an ancient laptop from 1997, and now I think it's time to play some games.